AEW returns to where it all began. All Elite Wrestling takes over the MGM Grand Garden Arena on Saturday, May 25th for Collision and Sunday, May 26th for Double or Nothing. And to talk about it, all about it, we have here in studio former AEW Tag Team Champion, former AEW Trios Champ, the Scissor King himself, Anthony Bowens. Anthony, how does it feel being back in Sin City?
I'm tired already. I always have a good time in Los Angeles, but I'm going to have even better time next week. And like you said, AEW, All Elite Wrestling live and in person, MGM Grand, Saturday night, May 25th, Sunday night, May 26th. We got Collision, we got Double or Nothing, one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. You got to be there.
Las Vegas, a place where you were out here for Super Bowl media, out there with Tony Khan, and you were also out here 2 years prior with AEW Double or Nothing. How much do you like being out here in the city?
I love being in Vegas. Now that I live in Los Angeles, it's a quick flight, hop over here, have some fun, head back to LA, and I'm always having fun doing media.
It's a short trip, but hey, the company relies on one of its faces with you, with Max Caster. How cool is it being a part of the Acclaimed, one of the most winningest tag team in AEW history?
And the best tag team alive. It's fantastic. Max and I have been having the time of our lives, especially with Billy Gunn in our corner as our mentor, as our father, on-screen father. And we've been enjoying our experience. We love performing every single week. We love scissoring everybody that we get the chance to. And we got big goals, big aspirations. We're right now trying to get back to the top of the AEW tag team division, get that tag team gold back around our waist. And that journey rolls through Vegas next weekend.
September 2020, you made your debut in AEW on AEW Dark. By the way, the only match where you weren't a part of the Acclaim. Do you remember your tag team partner?
Lee Johnson, yes.
And from then until now, how much have you changed? How much has the Acclaim changed your life?
My life is completely different. Like, completely different. If you go back and watch that first match that Caster and I had against Best Friends, I won't watch it at all. I hate it. But you can see the journey of the Acclaimed from ground zero that first night all the way through now. Everyone took that journey with us, and I think that's super cool that people get to experience it. I think that's why we're the best homegrown team in All Elite Wrestling history, you know?
And just a couple of months later after signing with AEW, your second TV match, do you remember what it was?
Is that with the Young Bucks? Yeah.
How crazy is that? You go from your first match, I think it was Kaz and CD. Second match, you're in there for the championships. How crazy is that in your career, which has spanned over a decade now?
There's been a lot of things that have happened over the last couple of years at AEW where it's just so difficult to process, especially at that time where it's like, all right, we're new to the company. We need to figure out who we are as individuals. We need to figure out who we are as a team, who the Acclaimed is. And all of a sudden we go from not being on television to sign to 10 matches later, we're main eventing Dynamite for the tag team titles against one of the best tag teams to ever do it. And you don't have any time to think about it. You don't have any time to process it because your music hits, the bell rings, and you got to fight. And that's what it all boils down to.
Talk to me about All Out 2022 in Chicago, because I remember watching it in the movie theater and the crowd was going nuts for you. And the
movie theater, that's amazing.
And you could also feel the crowd from Chicago through the screen that they were going nuts for you guys. You didn't win the title that day, but how did that feel where it was like you were always one of the most popular acts, but that day it seemed like it took it to another level?
That was the day that the Acclaim became superstars. And that Chicago crowd was absolutely insane. There's actually a part in the match, if you go back and watch it, I have to hold Swerve down to the ground because I hear the people going crazy. I'm like, what is happening? That's the first night they started singing the Oh Scissor Me Daddy. It was like, what are they chanting? And then it just got louder and louder throughout the entire match. And by the end of it, we were like, all right, you know, we really struck a chord with everybody. We really accomplished what we wanted to, which was to connect with the people. And then that's when the journey really took off, and we won the tag team titles a couple of weeks later in New York City.
I remember seeing that press conference after the show. Swerve was kind of like Swerve now world champ, a little bit pissed off.
Doing well for himself.
But he was a little pissed off when somebody asked Tony, is like, hey, did you think about changing it, the result, when you saw what was going on in the crowd? And then 2 weeks later, I mean, it was almost like meant to be, right? Your backyard, Arthur Ashe Stadium. I'm pretty sure you had pretty much everyone that you love out there in the stands. That was the place to be.
Absolutely. Chicago would have been amazing. That moment would have been incredible, especially because the crowd really wanted it. But to be able to do it in New York City, in front of my friends, my family, Caster grew up in New York City. I'm right across the river in New Jersey, and that stands as also one of my favorite moments. The win itself, but then also throughout I think there was 15,000 people there going nuts. I looked up and I saw my dad, and that is. I still get choked up thinking about it, and I try not to think about it. I'm even getting teary-eyed right now because just seeing him there and cheering, it was the perfect night.
So that's a special moment. Now let's go from being a tag team to being a trio. You add Billy Gunn to the mix. Did you ever dream when you were a kid watching Billy Gunn on TV, he's going to be one of my partners in a trio on TV?
No, but his action figure, his Signature Series 2 action figure, was my figure-fed world champion. He was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up, and actually one of Max's favorite wrestlers growing up as well, which is crazy how that all life works out like that. And then to have him guide us to the championship, and then to have him as an actual teammate, win the trios titles at Wembley Stadium, all in 2023, the biggest wrestling crowd in professional wrestling history, over 80,000 people there at Wembley, the biggest scissor party on earth. Insane.
And coming from behind, being underdogs, that's something that happened in your career, both through the indies, coming out of AEW, but you didn't win the AEW Tag Team Championship in your first try. Your first try at the AEW Trios titles was here in Las Vegas. Double or nothing.
Right. Against House of Black. So I think that's the trend, right? We lose the first one, and then we learn from our mistakes, and we win the second one. Right.
That's a lesson for everyone in life, right? It's like, hey, never quit, keep on going. I've seen interviews where you and Max speak about the other company, how they were keeping their eyes on you, and maybe it didn't happen there, but look at you guys now. You guys are one of the trendsetters in AEW.
Absolutely. All that stuff doesn't matter. What we're doing right now is what is most important. That's proving every single week that we're the best tag team alive, and we still got more goals to accomplish. We're trying to get back to the top of the tag team division, and like I said, get the gold back around our waist.
So you guys had those big championship title belts for 378 days combined between both of them. Mm-hmm. Does it feel weird not having them now with you in your luggage and having to go through TSA and explaining what they are?
Yes. If there is one pro, it's not having to bring it through TSA and have them stop you for 10 minutes and go, "What's this?" And then them go, "I'm the champion."
At 5 a.m.
5 a.m. I'm like, please put it back in. I got to catch this flight. But yeah, there is a little bit. I put my gear on. I'm like, oh, I'm missing something. It's the trios title, but we'll get everything back.
I remember you out here in Las Vegas 2 years ago having a meet and greet with crutches. And fans, the line was crazy long. Then last year, you guys coming in and same thing, crazy long line in FanFest. What does that mean to you as a wrestler, just going in and seeing crazy long lines for people that want to meet you?
It means it's validation that we've done our job, that we've connected with the people. Because that's, at the end of the day, that's the most important part. Obviously, the wrestling is spectacular, and we're very, very good professional wrestlers. But at the end of the day, it's the connection that we make with the people that means the most. And that's where, the scissoring comes in, because we get to physically connect with them, and people want to come out and they meet us, and we get the opportunity to speak with them. I get to hear a lot of stories of how people connect with me in terms of, my coming out and their stories, or their family members that might have gone through similar things. So it's one of my favorite things that Max and I and Billy as well, get to do, is when we have these signings. And then when the line is so long, we've had some misses too, but when the line is super long, it really plays into the fact that everyone truly loves the Acclaimed. Sorry.
That's right. No worries. Not everybody here in the building loves the Acclaimed. And speaking about loving the Acclaimed, you've had over 130 matches in AEW. Just 12 have been singles matches. Do you enjoy having single matches? Do you prefer tag team matches? Do you prefer trios matches?
I prefer, or just enjoy, being out in front of the people. Whether it's singles, tag team, trios, I just enjoy having the opportunity to live my dream every single week. Singles is fun. Obviously, the attention's on you. Tagging is great because Max and I are such a good duo together. And the trio is great, too, because you're out there with Billy, and people are always going to be going nuts, singing the "Oh, Scissor Me, Daddy." Like, he doesn't even have to wrestle. He can just stand there and be Billy, and people are losing their minds, and it's so cool to see.
I've seen kids that are like 5 years old ringside wanting to scissor Billy Gunn, and it's like you never saw him wrestle, but kids love Billy Gunn. Everybody loves Billy Gunn, and you guys with the Acclaimed. Now I got to ask you, Max Caster, plenty of raps that he has done. Do you have a favorite one?
Yeah. I think my favorite one off the top of my head is the one against Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. I don't know why, but I always find it so funny that he said Janela was so ugly. I don't remember what the line was, but Janela was so ugly that Sonny should let him borrow his makeup. For some reason, it just hits me every single time the way he delivered the line. It's just so funny. Sorry, Joey.
I got to ask you, too. Do you know what Max is going to say, and do the wrestlers in the ring know what Max is going to say?
The wrestlers do not know. In the beginning, I knew. Max kind of has his own process now where he kind of goes off to the abyss, and then I hear it on the entrance. I like to be surprised because I want the reaction to be genuine. At most, my role is, hey, this happened throughout the week, this, and this. Bring it to the forefront to his attention. Then he can go into his own mental space and he can figure out what he wants to say.
There was a line where Vince was brought up, and I saw your facial expression. I was like, oh, my God, that's going to either become a meme or a GIF right now, because I was like, that's classic right there. But also when the last rap here in Las Vegas, Double or Nothing, when Dom was brought up, I was like, oh, my God, the crowd went nuts.
Well, that's the thing with the Acclaim. Nothing is off the table. We live in the realm of, if it happened in real life, it's news, whatever genre of entertainment or politics, doesn't matter. It's on the table for Max to rap about.
What makes AEW so special, in your opinion?
To me, there's a little bit of something for everybody. You know, if you like technical wrestling, we got it. If you like physical, strong style wrestling, we got it. You want comedy, you got it. Lucha Libre, we got it. We got the best wrestlers alive in Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, the best tag team alive. You got crowd interaction. You got legends. You got Hall of Famers. You got everything. Like, what don't we have at AEW? We have it all, and that's why it should come out next week, May 25th, AEW live at MGM Grand, AEW Collision, and then Sunday night, one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, AEW Double or Nothing. Get tickets, AEWTix.com.
The inclusivity, the diversity in this company. You look at LGBTQ, Latinos, Black people. You got folks from Japan. You got folks from Europe. You got pretty much everyone involved. And like me, as a Latino, I look at the product and I see myself reflected at some of the wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say about all of that Tony Khan and the company so proudly shows on the TV screen?
Well, that ties into what I just said. There's a little bit of something for everybody. People feel seen and represented with our product. And that was one of the things that impressed me most when I did my first dark match with Lee Johnson, or when I tagged with Lee, was, I walked around and I saw people just getting along, and I saw Nyla Rose and Sonny Kiss authentically being themselves without the fear of any kind of judgment. And for me, as an openly gay professional wrestler, I go, this is the place I want to be. I can be myself. It's not something where I have to have eyes in the back of my head, where I have to worry about someone, doing something behind my back. Like, it's judgment free, and I'm able to be myself. And so hats off to Tony, hats off to AEW management, to the company itself, for allowing their performers to just go out and be themselves.
So we're at a sports station, so we'll talk a little bit about sports. And it's a hockey town here in Vegas. You got the Golden Knights, the defending NHL champions. A friend of mine brought up that your dad, before the tape, there was tape traders for wrestling. Your dad was the original tape trader when it came to hockey fights. Talk about that.
Yeah, so my dad, nicknamed the Godfather of hockey fights from, I forgot who it was, but he became super popular in the NHL and like ECHL, all these minor league affiliates, because back in the 70s, when the VCR first came out, for some reason, he was obsessed with hockey fights, and he started taping these games. He started talking his way into NHL arenas, into the locker rooms, getting to know coaches, players, the tape room. And all of a sudden, when I was a kid, I was in and out of these locker rooms carrying these big, heavy things full of tapes and bringing them home. And he would edit off the fights, and then I would get box scores for him for all the NHL games for the day. And he became this almost like underground legend of the NFL for hockey fight tape trading, that all these teams and these players respect. Like, literally, like, my closet at home is there's probably a good 30 game used hockey sticks from like Wayne Gretzky to Mark Messier autographed. And like, this is a gold mine.
And now you look at everything all these years later, you're a Northeast guy. Rangers, Devils, another team?
I would have to support the Devils in this case. I'm a little bit shell-shocked from hockey because I was hired to work at Major League Baseball, and then the NHL network moved into the studios and didn't have any crew, so they used all the baseball guys. and they where I worked, they kept us in this like black hole of a place, and it was just miserable. So anytime I see an NHL game, I'm like, I have some flashbacks. But I enjoy my time. I've gone to a couple games here and there representing AEW, and it's always fun going back.
Former baseball player, Montclair, Seton Hall, in college level. Is that your first love?
Baseball was my first. Well, honestly, I started wrestling or my love of professional wrestling first. Then I got into baseball heavy, and I played from Little League all the way through college. Like you said, Seton Hall, Montclair State. And then once that ended, I was so used to being on the field for 5-6 hours a day for over a decade. I was losing my mind trying to figure out what I wanted to do athletically and creatively. And then pro wrestling fell into my lap. Honestly, thanks to Santino Marella. And the next week after he gave me the information of Pat Buck, owner and trainer of Creative Pro Wrestling Academy, my pro wrestling journey started.
So, keeping it with baseball, I hope you don't stand up and leave after I say this because I know you're a massive San Francisco Giants fan.
What are you about to tell me?
No, I'm just going to put on my hat right here. You see that? Could cancel the
Getting up, I might have to drop a Sesame Timber on you right now.
Right? How disappointed were you? Because I saw a tweet you trying to recruit Shohei Ohtani to the Bay. How disappointed were you when you signed with the Dodgers?
In the back of my mind, I'm like, he's going to the Dodgers. There's no way he's leaving the Los Angeles area. But I tried my best, Shohei. You really let me down. We could have scissored every single night in San Francisco, but you gave it all up.
Well, even though we're from
$700 billion.
would you have gone to the Dodgers if they offered you that much money?
I love LA. For $700 million, I'll bleed blue for the rest of my life. Sorry, San Francisco.
No, but I've seen you out there on the field, and big Barry Bonds guy, and you are loyal to your squad. I'll give you that, and big time loyal to AEW. We still got some TV left before AEW Double or Nothing, but fans will see the Acclaim that weekend out here in Vegas, right?
Oh, you absolutely will. We will be there, and we will be scissoring all night long. So get ready, baby. Throw them up for me, because everyone loves the Acclaimed. I'll do it a second time. I'm losing my voice.
Fantastic. Anthony Bowens, he will be there with Max Caster, with Billy Gunn, and all of the AEW roster. May 25th, Collision. May 26th, Double or Nothing, MGM Grand Garden Arena. Get your tickets now at awtix.com. Anthony, thank you so much, man.
Thank you for having me.